And there is one incident in the life of Swami Vivekananda which is associated with Varanasi from where I come, which I will tell you, which in just gives us how to deal with the trials and tribulations of this life. When Swamiji was there in Varanasi as a wandering monk, there are two old temples in Varanasi. There are several. Apart from Baba Vishwanath and Ma Annapurna, we have a temple of Shankat Mochan, Hanumanji, and Durga Mai. They are not very distant, and in those days there was not any buildings or anything. It was a jungle-like thing between the two temples. So Swamiji had gone for darshan to this Shankat Mochan temple, and when he was coming back, he was chased. Even today, there are a lot of monkeys there, chimpanzees. So they chased him. And he was very athletic and at that time very strong. So he started running at a terrific speed. But the monkeys also started running and were after him. But were about to catch hold of him when he reached Durga. From some distance, there was an old monk who saw him running and this monkeys chasing and said, "Ruko, turn around and face the brutes." Swamiji heeded his advice, and the moment he turned around and faced those brutes, they took to heel and left him alone. Swamiji later on said, trials will be there, temptations will be there. Don't run away. Don't be afraid. Look them straight and face the brute. We'll go into the details of this. Vedanta is a very strange for us modern, especially highly educated people, view on how to deal with trials and tribulations of life. Vedanta says, give up the world. I'll quote from Isha Upanishad. Isha vasyam idam sarvam yatkim jagatyam jagat tena tyakkena bhunjita ma krida kasya svitana. Give up, renounce and enjoy. But what is meant, Swami says, what is meant by giving up this world? Go into jungles, take on ugly clothes, drive away your children, don't look after your wife. He says this is diabolism, this is brutishness, this is not religion. What does Vedanta say? Ishavasya midam sarvam. That defy the world. See God in your wife and in your children and in all around. Not by a false sense of optimism, but actually because that is the reality. We saw that Vedanta says that who are we? We are of the nature of Brahman. We are divine. We are not this more body, mind, intellect complex. You say, but we don't experience it, and how does it make a difference? It makes a difference. Try it out. And it also says, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. All this that is there in the entire cosmos is but Him, the Lord. There is nothing else. Then why we experience so much of diversity? It is because of ignorance. And this ignorance is what makes us see the world of senses full of strife, full of trials and tribulations. Why? Because the world which we have conjectured, Swamiji says, is a world of very partial experience. We have not at all reasoned about the world to any depth, and it is based on our weakness. The saints and sages of Vedanta, including Swami Vivekananda, says, stand up and see God. What does this mean? That if we are divine, we will not make any mistakes? That we will not have any trials and tribulations? Yes, they will always come. But if we make 1,000 mistakes, be sure those who don't have the idea will make 10,000 at least. Because this ideal is true. It is a fact which countless saints and sages across human history have experienced it. Even our Tulsidas says, Shriya Rama Mae Saba Jaga Jani Karu Pranam Jori Jaga Prani. I only see Sita and Ram in the whole universe, and therefore I bow down to everybody. Countless sages throughout history, including Ramkrishna and Vivekananda. Vivekananda, through the grace of his Guru, as well as this, he experiences. For him, he was always in conversation with God, not with us ordinary. And it was not that he was an ignorant fool or he was an optimistic, foolish person. No. He had very minute and intricate details of anybody he met, not only of the present but his future and past, at a glance. He had a better knowledge of who we are in our phenomenal existence than what we have, unless we have done a lot of sadhana and almost reached the goal. But yet he saw only the divine. He experienced the divine because this is the fact. And this is spirituality. How does it help us? Our Vedanta says our trials and tribulations. But before I go there, we have to deal with our family members as manifestation of the divine. We have to see divine in them. This needs hard work and practice, but it is full of sweetness. This journey is full of joy if we can do. This is a fact. And the more we do, the more successful we are, and the more better off we are. But even before we rise above the plane where we are today, we can make ourselves strong. But how to deal with people in today's state if they are wicked? Even the wicked are manifestations of the divine. But how to deal with them? Sri Ramkrishna used to tell one story that there was a poisonous cobra who used to terrorize all the villagers, and they would be terrified of him. And whenever he would find an opportunity, he would beat them and they would lose life. One day, through that village, a brahmachari passed. And that brahmachari was asking for the way. And the way was through the jungle near that village. But all the village children, they said, please don't go there. He said, why? He said, there is a terrible poisonous cobra and he will beat you. We are all afraid, please don't go there. This brahmachari said, no, I know some mantras. Don't worry. I'll look into it. So he went through the jungle because that is the direction he wanted to go. And he saw this cobra rushing towards him. He immediately stood still, uttered the mantra, and the snake came and just stood before him and bowed down and said, Holy Sir, please instruct me. So he said, that, see, give up this violent ways and I'm initiating you with this mantra, and with that you'll make a lot of spiritual progress. And I'll come back once again the same way after some time. You do this practice. The snake, cobra devotedly started practicing, and he grew in life. So he became more and more, as we call it, sattvic, serene, peaceful, loving, kind. Stopped biting people, let alone biting, not even hunting for rats to fill his stomach. So became weak. Now this young boy saw that this cobra has changed. So they started hitting him with stones. And finally, they churned him and threw him. So he nearly died. But he had been initiated, so he didn't lose his life. In the night, somehow crawled back to its hole, and then he would only come out in the night and eat some berries or fruits which had dropped nearby. After some time, that brahmachari came back. Then he said, "Where is the cobra?" He asked his children. So they said, "Oh, he's dead." Dead? Yeah, he's dead, gone. Brahmachari said, "It can't be. I have initiated him. He can't die that way." So he went looking after him. When he caught him, after a long time, slowly the cobra came back and bowed down to his guru. He said, "Why have you grown so thin and weak?" He said, no, it is because nothing. He didn't even remember, let alone have hatred for those children who had nearly killed him. But he thought, maybe I'm eating fruits these days and doing sadhana, that's why I've become a bit weak. Ramacharya said, "No, you tell me. There must be some reason why you have gone so." Then slowly he remembered, yes, his children had stoned me and then turned me around and thrown me, so I was deeply hurt and I'm not eating well. So Brahmacharya said, "Why did you do such thing?" He said, "You only instructed me. Don't be violent, don't eat others, don't hurt others." He said, "But fool, did I tell you not to hiss?" No, you should have hissed. When people try to harm you and hurt you, you must hiss, especially if you are leading the life of a householder in modern times. There are all sorts of wicked people who try to hurt you. They are God in human form, but when wicked comes, Sri Ramkrishna says, you hiss. And tiger is also a god, but don't go and put your arms around the tiger, or you know what will happen. Tiger from far. Namaskar, Prabhu, bahut acha. Keep a distance. So this is how we have to deal with our near and dear ones. But there also there is a lot of strife and wicked people. In near and dear ones, there are a lot of strifes in families also. All of you know, I don't have to tell you. But we all have a duty to our parents. And though two generations may not be able to stay together, you must look after your parents. And it is impossible to look after them under one roof. Provide another roof and take care of all their requirements and serve them. They may say, stay separately. This is what Sri Ramakrishna says. And similarly, with children, what is to be done? The moment they are adults grown up, let them be. For you, and they are always children. But now they are grown up. Maybe they have kids of their own. So let them be. That's the time. But this you won't be able to do unless you have practiced that detachment from day one. You have tried to see the divine in them, day one. Otherwise, you always cling to them in name of love. Attachment and love are two different things. Even daya is very different from maya or asakti. What is the difference? Sri Ramakrishna says, maya is love or concern or attachment for our wife, children, husband, relatives, and the like. All those associated with my body. Whereas daya or compassion is love or concern for irrespective of their relationship with this body, for all. And this is daya which has to be cultivated. And the more the daya is cultivated, or anasakti is cultivated, or love is cultivated, this false attachment which comes in form of love will go. And then only we can be at peace and let others be at peace. Otherwise, it's not possible. And regarding your spouse, these are difficult times. Hope everybody has a happy married life like Ramil had till Harini. I can't say she has passed away because I think she is still guiding the family, and this is a wonderful result. But if times come, it's not possible, look after them. At least their physical wants and their financial needs. This is absolutely must. So, on one hand, you have to be practical, but on the other hand, we cannot give up our duties. But Vedanta says, these are only one types of problems from others. All the problems of our life can be classified into three according to Vedanta. What I just talked about is Adi Bhautik, which comes from other living beings. But the main one is Adhyatmik, what comes from my body and mind. And this is the most important thing to learn in modern times. All our education and all our teaching in the society gives us always how to straighten out the world, how to bring solution to world problems. And we in the beginning said that our approach is how to put myself right, and my world will take care of itself. It will become right, at least for me. And that's the only possible. And nobody is denying that you work to solve the problems of the society. But only if you have solved your own problems are you in a position to meaningfully do something good for the society or for the world at large. Otherwise, it's all in a way meaningless, foolishness. And true solutions don't come. In fact, we aggravate the problems by being emotional activists. This is not to deny feelings for the poor or feelings for the others, no. So, what are our problems? These problems are common of humanity. Vedanta says, Shadripu, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. I will not go into the details of these problems, but I will dwell on the solutions. What does Vedanta say? What can you do in your present state? અત્યારે આપણે શું કરી શકીએ? આ કામ, ક્રોધ, લોભ, મોહ, મદ, મત્સર. સૌથી પહેલા તો એ જાણો કે એ આપણા દુશ્મન છે. એ આપણા મિત્રો નથી. દુનિયા ભલે એટલું કહેતી હોય. તો કેવી રીતે એની સાથે કેવી રીતે? How to deal with that? The moment we go above, that's a different time. But now, today, Vivek, Anasakti, Vairagya. What is Vivek? Discrimination. But discrimination between what? What is eternal and what is transitory. Our true nature and true relationship with the divine, this is eternal. All other relationships and this body itself, we all know it is transient. Today or tomorrow it has to go. So, whenever this alligators, as Sri Ramakrishna used to call them, they come to hunt you, put turmeric of Viveka and Anasakti so that they will not be able to attack you. They will try. Many times, sometimes, rarely, but they will be there. Vivek and Anasakti. What is eternal? What is permanent? What is real? And what is transitory? What is unreal? We have seen this. And the biggest obstacle to our spiritual progress is our own ego. So the story I told you in the beginning, which tells you that you are divine, essentially makes us give up this ego. But till we cannot give up this ego, we have to have a right ego, which will help us deal with this world and ourselves of all people better. And that is that I am the child of the divine. I am the child of God. I am his servant, or I am his friend, whichever relationship you want to strike up with the divine, but strike up that. Instead of saying I am so learned, I am so qualified, and I am having so much of wealth and power and prestige and all those false ego, have all that. Have all the money you want. Don't be possessive of it. I'll give you a real life story from Vivekananda's life. That time Vivekananda was in America, and you must all have heard of Rockefeller. So he was one of the wealthiest persons in US at that time. But he was suffering from a disease. What was the disease? He could not sleep. He could not at all sleep, and which had made him almost mad. You know, sleep is more essential than even food and water. You can go days without, and maybe weeks without food and water, but sleep is absolutely must to stay sane and healthy. So this Rockefeller had lost his sleep. And being the wealthiest man, he had brought people from all over the world, physicians, to cure him of this disease with all treatment. It was not possible. He knew one opera singer, Madame Calvé, who had undergone tremendous depression and who had come to Swami Vivekananda in that state. And Swami Vivekananda helped her, and she had become a successful singer once again. And she knew Rockefeller, and when she came to know about this problem of Rockefeller, she told him, Swami Vivekananda is in your city, Chicago, in so and so person's place. Why don't you go and say that? Now, this is the richest man in the world, and this monk who has come from that India, not today's India where everybody wants to have something to do with India because of its money. That India was a subjugated nation full of poverty, disease and grief. And this monk who had nothing in his pocket, and this richest man to go and see him, he dismissed the idea. But what to do? He is getting no sleep. So one fine afternoon, what he did is he went to the place where Vivekananda was residing, and he simply, when the butler came to open the door, pushed him aside and went into the study where Vivekananda was reading something. And Vivekananda was reading something, and he didn't even look up at him. So this richest man, and we all know how we treat rich and powerful people, and this is the richest man in the world. I'm sure we are listening to this lecture, but the richest man in the world comes up, we'll all get up. This man is not even looking at him. So he's fretting and fuming. After some time, without looking up at him, Vivekananda told him 2 or 3 things which shook him up totally. Because these intimate details of his life, nobody, not his dearest and nearest, knew about it. And here is a monk who doesn't know anything about him, telling him without even looking at him that this is what happened in his life. And then Vivekananda looked up at him and told him, which is very important for us, the wealth which you have is not yours. It has been given to you by the Lord so that you can serve His children. In a huff he left, very angry at this unsought advice. He went back, very angry, but then he realized that he never told him anything about his problem for which he had gone there in the first place. After a few days, in the afternoon time, we went to the same place, same study. Once again, Vivekananda was writing something at the table, didn't look at him, and he threw a roll of paper at him. And he said, now you can thank me. After some time, Vivekananda took up that roll, saw that was the first major donation of Rockefeller Foundation. It was formed that time. And this miserly old richest man in the world gave this donation, and Rockefeller Foundation, even to date, it does a lot of charity throughout the world in all fields. But strange thing happened. He didn't tell him anything about his problem. But from that day, he started sleeping like a log. And to that effect, that when one of his factories later caught fire and people wanted to inform him, they could not, because he was fast asleep, peacefully. So, our misery comes not from our wealth, but our attachment to that wealth, our possessionship. Mine, amaro paiso છે, amaro, હું ને મારો, બધા દુઃખોનું મૂળ આ હું ને તારો. આપણે શું કહેવાનું છે? તું અને તારો, પ્રભુ આ તારો છે. હું તારો છું, આ પૈસો તો તારો જ છે. Don't be possessive. Don't get attached. The moment you get attached, the blow comes and we all have to cry. You, me, or anybody. It is that attachment which makes us miserable, which makes us cry. Give up that attachment. Another thing, Holy Mother has given a wonderful advice. Jyoti Shanti Chao, Karo Dosh Tek Bena. Dosh Tek Me Nije. Kyo Por Ne Ma, Jagat Ke Tomar Ko Rahi Deshe. What is she saying? Don't see faults of others. If you have to see fault, see your own faults. And nobody is a stranger, let alone an enemy. Learn to make the whole world your own. This is the sadhana. Now, this doesn't mean that we have to give up our sense of discrimination. We don't know what is right and what is wrong, what are the weaknesses of. But don't engage yourself with weaknesses of all, because these are universal weaknesses. The degree and the permutation and combinations may vary, but what my weaknesses are no different from yours or no different from any human being in the world. The degree and the permutation and combinations may vary. So don't engage with that. Be aware, but engage with the qualities, the goodness of others. Because this is unique to that person. It is not common to all humanity. The goodness, the qualities of others are of that particular individual and all. And if we do this, we get peace, shanti. If you want shanti, peace of mind, stop looking at others' faults. Stop engaging yourself with others' faults. Rather, be loving, serve them, be detached, and if you can, appreciate the good qualities. Your life and of those of others will be very peaceful. It can be done. It's not easy, because we have learned the other way, and the society teaches, always teaches us how to look at others' weakness, because that's how we have learned to sort of grow. But Vivekananda says no. I can't help but repeating one incident which happened in Swamiji's life in the West. That time, there was a lot of this apartheid, color distinctions and discriminations in US also. So, in hotels, they would put up boards, blacks not allowed. And many of them would mistake Swami Vivekananda for black. And they would say, sorry, blacks not allowed. So, without a moment's hesitation, he would just turn around and walk away. When his friends and admirers would say, but Swami, you are not a Negro, you are not a black, you are an Indian, why did you tell him? Then he would say, what? To climb on others' fall, I was not born for that. See, this is what Swami Vivekananda is teaching us. This is what Holy Mother and Ramkrishna is teaching us. This is what Vedanta is teaching us. And this is very, very practical. If you want to have peace of mind, be up and about. And no age is a bar. No, it is never too early to begin, never too late to begin. Do it and find out. And it is very scientific, it doesn't cost you a penny. Luckily, nobody has charged you for coming here also. Thank you for coming here. And this knowledge is free. Practice it and find out the result. I don't know what the time is. Your time. Okay. So, one more thing. That why are we restless? Why are we tense? There is a story which Sri Ramakrishna used to say. It is from the Bhagavata. In Bhagavad Puran, Avadhuta had 24 gurus, 24 teachers. One of them was the kite. What happened is, the kite once caught a fish. And with the fish, the crows started running after the kite, flying after the kite. Caw, 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 caw. And you know what a group of crows can do. It can make life very miserable for anybody. This crows made life very miserable for this kite. Finally, by mistake, that fish dropped from the kite's beak. And all the crows went for the fish and left the kite alone. Then the kite sat on a tree and said, oh, it was this fish which was there in my mouth which made me miserable. Now this anxiety, this tension is because of this fish of desire which is there with us. So Vedanta says, give up desire. Now, once again, a problem. If we have to give up desire, what will remain of our life? Once again, it has to be understood. And what it means by giving up desires. Surrender yourself to the divine. Surrender your desire. Don't have any desires of your own. Let it be His desires. Let it be the Divine Mother's desire. You give up yourself. Give up yourself to her, to the Divine Mother of the universe. There is one more story which Sri Ramakrishna used to say. There was a weaver. He was a very pious, holy man. Anybody who would come to purchase the cloth from him and say, how much does it cost? He would say, see, the material and the labor cost was 1 rupee, and those were annas those days. 4 annas, my profit is 2 annas, so the cloth will cost you 1 rupee and 6 annas. And people knew that he is a pious, holy man, and he would always be truthful. They would purchase it, and he would be happy, very truthful, straight, making his profit, but that also very open about it. Now what happened is, this weaver, what he used to do is, at the end of the day, after having prepared his cloth, sold it, he would come and sit before the Lord and sing His glory and do his japa and meditation, and then retire. One day it so happened that he was not getting sleep, and he was singing the glories of the Lord there, and a band of robbers passed through. So they had a robbery in mind in a neighboring mansion. So they thought they would require somebody to carry their load, some coolie, porter. So they caught hold of this weaver and said, come along with us. Before he could say anything, they took the weaver and then they went, robbed that mansion and put the whole load on that weaver's head, and they started going away. But as it would have it, police came. So the robbers ran away, and this poor weaver was caught with the load of loot on his head. So they put him into the prison. Next day, the villagers came to know that this has happened in the night. So they all went and told the magistrate before whom this weaver was produced that he is a very good man, very pious, holy man, he cannot do this. So the magistrate said, okay, what have you to say? He has to do justice. So the weaver started saying, because of Rama's will, Ramની ઈચ્છાથી હું ધંધો કરીને પાછો આવ્યો. રામની ઈચ્છાથી ભોજન પાણી પછી હું રામના ગુણગાન ગાતો હતો. રામની ઈચ્છાથી તે વખતે રાતના આ ચોરો ત્યાંથી પસાર થતા હતા. રામની ઈચ્છાથી એ લોકો મને પકડીને નજીકના બંગલામાં લઈ ગયા. રામની ઈચ્છાથી એમને મારા માથા ઉપર ચોરીનો માલ પકડ્યો. રામની ઈચ્છાથી પાછા વળતા હતા ત્યારે પોલીસ આવી ગયા. રામની ઈચ્છાથી પોલીસોએ મને પકડીને જેલમાં પૂરી દીધો. રામની ઈચ્છાથી આજે તમારી સામે લાવ્યા છે, એટલે રામની ઈચ્છાથી હું તમારી સામે છું. Magistrate understood that this man is full of the law. Divine will. There is no will of mine. I am yours. I am the Lord's. Every moment say this. This self-surrender, this will transform and transmute all the desires and make us participants of this divine play of His. Give up these desires. And then the moment you give up these desires, all these crores of tension and anxiety, things will be. Rome was never won in a day. Yes, it's hard work, it's very tough work, but it is our glory that it is meant for us, because we are no less than the Lord of the universe. That is our nature and that is our glory. With this, I think that I have come to the last thing, which is that we all have to pray, we all have to meditate, we all have to take and sing Lord's name. All this is true. At the same time, we have to do our daily duties, earn our daily bread. All this needs to be done, and we have seen how to do it, what to do about it. But one more thing. Our Sanatana Dharma has a Yug Dharma. There are all sorts of dharmas in our scriptures, but there is a Yug Dharma. And the present Yug Dharma, which Yuga Avatar Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Yugacharya, Swami Vivekananda teaches us, is that of Seva. Shiv Jnane Jiv Seva. How it is to be done? The Bhagwan teaches us. These are our eternal principles. Today, this religion has become the main religion for us. Serve others. How? Dana Manabhya. Give. If you have wealth, give wealth. If you have learning, give learning. If you have the ability to save lives, save lives. If you have the ability to educate others, educate them. And if you have the ability to give spiritual knowledge, give. 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 Dana, but dana has to be done manabhya. Give with respect. Don't be compassionate. Daya. Let. Hurt. No. Give with respect. Manabhya. Dana manabhya maitraya. In a very friendly manner. The one who is giving is also the Lord. Give in a friendly manner. And abhinna chakshusha. The one whom you are giving, don't look down upon that person. Because that he is not a poor beggar. He is Daridra Narayana who is standing before you. So, abhinna chakshusha. Know him or her to be non-different from the divine, from Brahman, from God. This is the process of giving. But give whatever you have. The moment you try to clutch and say, I will not, the blow will come and nature will make you give. Rather than it does it in its cruel way, which can be very cruel. Give voluntarily. Give. Then the ideal is very high. In the words of Swami Vivekananda, let the giver kneel down and worship, let the receiver stand up and permit. જે દાતા છે એ ઘૂંટણે પડીને પૂજા કરે અને જે યાચક છે જે પ્રાપ્ત કરે છે તે સામે ઊભો રહીને તમને પરવાનગી આપે, અનુમતિ પ્રદાન કરે. આમાં અહંકારનો, we all saw in the beginning that what is coming in between realizing the truth of ourselves in this world, which is God and divinity alone, and our present state of ignorance, is this ahankara. Give up this ahankara totally. Let him stand up and permit. Let us kneel down and worship. Once again, thanking all of you, especially the trustees of Dr. Harini, Ramil, Diwanji Memorial Foundation, and praying to the Almighty Lord to make us all His playmates in His divine Leela by giving us the opportunity and the ability to give, kneeling down and worship, allowing the other to permit us to give. With this prayer, I once again thank you all and tell the Lord to bless us all and through us all, to all those who come in contact with us. Om Shanti.